it's very context heavy. It's about 3C from the book. This is the sort of question that you can really only ask of your classmates or instructors. You can't just like throw it up on Google and expect anyone in the world couldn't get a good answer that way. So this is where Piazza really becomes very helpful. So I have this history slider. There's a question in history along the top, and I can actually go back in time. So I just did that, and I'll quickly play you through the way this discussion evolved, and through that you'll get a sense of how Piazza typically works. So the question was asked by the original student, Rebecca. Then a student came along, Bailey, and gave a brief answer in the student's answer section right here.
So does this show the exact date and time of the question? I mean the slider seems fuzzy. So
this class is 2 years old, so it's showing like 2 years ago. When it's near to the time, like actually during the course, you'll see much more precisely.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. And then there is a log, so if for any reason you really needed that data, we can actually export the entire interaction record of your class to you, and you can study it if you want to. We have researchers look at a class and really study the way that.
Yeah, but by the way, there are some equation here. Can I type those equation on using Pizza?
Yeah. I'll show you that. Let me move forward. There'll be some more equations that come up, and then at that point it'll be easier for me to show you what they look like or how that works. Actually, it's going to happen in this next step. So here, a student came, gave a brief answer. Then Tim, another student, said, "Hey, this might be helpful." So he came in and actually changed the student's answer. So you can see immediately how it's very different from Blackboard in that this space is collaborative. So if multiple students want to contribute, they can do so in a way that is, elegant and that builds upon previous answers, as opposed to everything being kind of flat and in a generic threaded way. So let's see, going forward, Tim makes some further changes, then Sajith, the third student, jumps in. So now 3 separate students built this one really pretty good answer.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you the equation editing now. So I just chose edit. I have instructor privileges in this class, so as an instructor I can actually edit anything I want to, including the students' answers, questions. I can outright delete stuff if I didn't. Instructors, we use that term to include TAs, professors, lecturers. Everyone is an instructor. It turns out it's best if all those people have the same privileges so they can manage student interactions. Okay, back to the math. So here's an equation that was created on Piazza. I can just double click on it if I want to change it. It's done in LaTeX. So I can either type out the equation if I know LaTeX,
mm-hmm.
or I can just build it graphically using this
editor. Yeah. Okay.
So really simple.
Yeah, looks cool.
Yeah. So that's that. Let me show you some more sections here. So there's the students' answer section. You can see in this question, the students came along, provided the main answer. As an instructor, you can come along and give your own answer in the instructor's answer section.
Right.
It's always held separately. Students want to know what came from my peers versus what came from my instructors. So this is nice. You have this here. And it's like the students' answer section, the instructor's answer section is collaborative too. So if you give a part of an answer and then one of your fellow TAs has more to add, they can come in and do that. And they'll show up in the history. So in addition to those 2 sections, there's a follow-up discussions area. So let me just move forward. So this student, Andrew, came along. He was confused about this particular inequality in the question up above, so he asked
mm-hmm.
about that here. Now when he by default, like you see here. And what that does is it adds a flag over on this column saying there's one unresolved follow-up on this discussion. So what that's doing is it's drawing attention to this discussion from you, the course staff, and from other students to come and actually address this. If you think about Blackboard, this question would be inserted amongst all the other comments.
Right.
And
so it's like the bug checking feature.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So then you, or at least it's easy to figure out why it's not been resolved. So now in this case, it was another student. Panopong came along, noticed that this question was still outstanding, so he provided an answer, and just replied to this follow-up discussion. Now, because he believes he's resolved an issue, he can go ahead and just mark it resolved. And that flag goes away. Nobody comes here unnecessarily. And Andrew gets an email alert saying your question's been answered. Here's the answer. So now, if he's still confused, he'll simply come back. He'll mark this unresolved again. It'll go back and forth until it's really been actually fully resolved. Now, as a TA, as any instructor in the class, this is really valuable. This state around discussions. What you can do is just click unresolved. Now I'm looking at everything that needs attention in this class right now. Turns out it's only this discussion because the class is over and everything was taken care of. But you can imagine on any given day, you come here, you just filter, and now you just start tackling the questions that you want to answer.
Okay.
So, if it was only asked 2 hours ago, then maybe you say, I'm going to wait and see if students can answer this question. Or maybe you jump in and answer it. Other things that help your workflow are these icons over here. So this one I can tell before I even visit the discussion that it already has a student's answer from this green S icon.
Oh, I see.
Likewise, this one has an instructor's answer from the orange icon.
Mm-hmm.
This one has...
Yeah, it has both?
Yeah, it has a student's answer and an instructor's answer.
Right. 3 and 4, those numbers.
Yeah. Those are the number of updates that have happened on the question since you last looked at it. So this is really helpful because you can look for, it's a heat map essentially. You can look for posts that have 12, 13, 14, 20 updates, and you know, okay, this is something that students were really digging into. It's probably somewhere where my time is best spent. Or it's just something that students are really interested in, you know what to spend time on in the next lecture. Here's one that had 13 updates. And this, you can see this green S icon here has an orange check mark over it. What that's telling us is that the instructor endorsed this student's answer. So the instructor came along, read the answer, said, okay, that's really good, that's what I would have said. I'm just going to give a brief addition to that, and I'm going to endorse the answer. So I say, good answer, and this appears. And now what happens is two things. To know that they can trust this as much as an answer from you now. That's great. Now you've saved the time of having to give an answer. But the second thing, and the more subtle and perhaps more important thing is, by endorsing students' answers, it's sort of like giving them a pat on the back. They feel good about the fact that the instructor just noticed their positive contribution, and they're going to continue to give more, hoping to get that same kind of gratification in the future. So what that ultimately boils down to is you have active students who are providing answers and saving you a lot of time.
Yeah, right.
So that's the way discussions usually play out. Quickly, I'll run through a couple other things. First, search feature is really good on Piazza. This makes sure that you're not getting lots of duplicate questions. If you're doing everything via email or Blackboard discussion board forums, then you're getting the same question over and over again because students.
Yeah, I think the search feature is quite straightforward. Yeah. How about the update? What difference between the unresolved, updated, and following tabs?
Yeah, so updated. This is going to filter down to only posts that have new content since the last time I was here. Similar, you can see if it's unread and I haven't ever seen it. Following, if I participate, there are two ways you can become a follower of a post. One way is to participate in the post.
Mm-hmm.
Then we decide, okay, you're probably interested in this post, you're going to start following it, and then we'll send you email updates accordingly. Another way is you can explicitly say, I want to follow this post. So I can say follow. And now, anytime there's an update to this post, I'll get a notification, depending on what my email settings are. But you can set your email settings to be as verbose or terse as you want to. Maybe that's the wrong way to describe it. You can have as many or as few emails as you want.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The other thing that there's on Piazza is a course page, so you can post all of your content here if you wanted to. If you're using Blackboard, maybe you'll put it there. But sometimes it's nice to have that in this space, since a lot of the discussion is taking place around homeworks and solutions and all that stuff. So that's that. And one other thing I'd want you to know about Piazza is that there's reporting. So you can look at class statistics. You can see how is everyone contributing in the class. How many, who are the top, which students asked the most questions, which students gave the most answers, who just looked at the most posts, and you can get a single student.
Right,
and
right.
you can see amongst your fellow TAs who else is answering
So
questions.
I have a question. Can instructor use Pizza to give homework to student, and then student can send the answers, send the result to the instructors?
Great question. So that the part about actually submitting the homework is in the works. It's not done yet. You can post the homework for students to go get and start themselves here. If it's about, if it's just that you want to quiz the students about one thing in particular, you can set up polls on Piazza. So there are 3 types of posts on Piazza. One is a question, one is a note, and one is a poll. And in the case of a poll, then you'd be able to see what did everyone vote for. So some people use these in class. Other students take out the iPhone app, Android, and then they can vote on a poll. So that's one way where you can actually get real-time response from students. But as far as actual homework submissions, that's something that is in the works but not done yet.
Okay.
And so now we've had a chance to talk about polls. That was one of the things I'd like you to know too. Just you can do polls, you get nice votes from students. You can say things like when should we hold our next office hours, and then you'll get better participation. Nobody raises their hand or anything. Then you can also post a note. In addition to questions, these are things that don't really need answers, so they're not going to be unresolved. But this is a way for you to just send out an announcement to the class. It'll get emailed to everybody. They'll get push notifications on their phones. So it's a good way for you to just get information out to everyone. And of course, the question which is what we've been talking about.
So
And,
so when I post a question, how will the content gonna deliver to the student? How the student look? I mean the graphical user interface of the question shown to the student.
Yeah, so 2 things. Mostly they'll come back to Piazza to view the question. But when you post, or when somebody posts a question, students will get an email saying this question has been asked and they can read the question. Now, if they want to participate in that, they can click on the link and it'll take them to Piazza, or it'll open their mobile app.
Okay.
They can interact with it that way. If students have freedom to customize their email settings. Sometimes they don't want a lot of emails. Sometimes they want an email about everything. So it'll vary as to whose settings are what. As an instructor, you have a privilege to make sure that everybody gets a real-time alert about whatever you're about to post. You can check a box to send email notifications immediately, bypassing settings. So if it's something really important, you can make sure that they get it that way.
Okay, sounds.
And one other thing for the can actually ask their questions with varying levels of anonymity. So sometimes students are shy to ask a question in class or to email it, but they can ask the question on Piazza with 1 or 2 levels, either anonymous just from their classmates, and in that case the instructors still see who they are, or they can ask it with full anonymity and then nobody knows who they are. However, as an instructor, if you don't want full anonymity to be an option, you can turn that off.
Okay.
Does that all make sense?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think it's. Yeah. I like the discussion feature of this product.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Students tend to really like it, and instructors really like it too because it ends up saving them time. So, I guess my offer to you would be I'd be happy to set it up for you to talk to anyone else on your team who wants to know about it.
Yeah. I definitely gonna talk to the professor and the other TA about this, and we're gonna discuss.
Great. That sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I show you, in the event that you guys decide you want to use it, I'll just show you quickly how you can set it up. It's super simple. This will take us 15 seconds.
So
So
it is free for academic uses, right?
that's right.
Yeah.
The reason we're able to build sort of parallel products for industry. So you can imagine, time saved, learning something on the job translates to more profits. So we can charge licensing fees to use Piazza in industry, and our philosophy is basically that everything ought to be free for academic use. First, because we built it as students because we felt like we needed it, but then next, it turns out it works well with this other model. Students use Piazza while they're at school, they love it, then they go on the job and they can take it with them and get their companies to buy it.
So is
So if
it
you want,
is it
go ahead.
integrated with, I mean, USC schedule, or
Yeah, well, good question. So, and then the class just exists. We associate a term with it, and then what will happen is the class can become inactive after your term. We do know the schedule at USC. So maybe a little bit after the term, we'll make the class inactive, and then it becomes read-only. But we never delete any of the content. You can always go back and access it anytime, and you could even make the class active again if you wanted it to persist. Is that why you were asking about schedule, or?
because as my experience using Blackboard is, when I log into Blackboard, the system seamlessly integrate, I mean, all the information from my schedule, my grade and assignment, every stuff is available.
Yeah, so Piazza would become your central communication place. There are two things. Piazza itself can be integrated seamlessly into Blackboard, and then in that case, you just have a link in Blackboard. You click it, and then you're in Piazza for discussion. Barring that, the only thing that's really needed for discussion is that all of the right people are in that space, right? So what you do to get your class kicked off is, I'm in Piazza. I go to my Manage Class tab, which looks like this, and then I would invite everyone who's going to be communicating this way through Piazza. So I can just paste in all the addresses and all the students' email addresses, and then invite them. And then when they get the invitation, they click on a link, they enter their name and set a password, and then they're online. So it takes only a few moments. And then you're connected, and that's what matters in this context, because you don't go to Piazza to check your grades. You go there to ask questions when you're doing your homework.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, students spend an average 2 to 3 hours a night on Piazza. So basically, we call it kind of the third tab. Students always have Gmail open, they have Facebook open, and if they're doing their homework, they have Piazza open.
Pure.
At least that's the way it is at Stanford and other schools where it's really heavy use.
Okay. Yeah.
So do you want me to create a class that you can just go look in? You can click around yourself and then decide if you want to use it later. But at least that way.
So I can access this website, right?
Yeah.
USC Fall 2013. So I think we can check it out our own.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So you'll just go to the homepage, which is piazza.com. I'm logged in, so I'll do this. But then you can see, you just press the orange button if you want to create a class, and it takes a few seconds. And then there's a lot more info here, and of course you can always call me back, email me. I'd be happy to help you guys answer any questions you have. And I can also connect you with other professors at USC who are using Piazza.
Oh, so there are the professor at USC using PR, right?
Yeah, one I can think of is Marco Papa. That's off the top of my head, but there are many others who I don't personally know.
Okay. Okay. Yes, sounds good.
Great.
So yeah,
Well, thanks.
thank you for giving me the introduction. I think it's a very cool product, and however, I think the um, it will be better if yeah, I mean um, the assignment feature should be improved. Yeah.
You want to be able to collect assignments this way? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear more about that. So, are you thinking, some assignments, and then I say, okay, I'm done with my assignment, so I want to drop it off. So I'd press a button, it would let me upload my file, and then on your end, as a TA and somebody who probably has to grade assignments as well, I guess you'd want to see basically a timestamp.
Yeah,
You'd want,
timestamp, deadline, um, and yeah, and your student cannot submit after the deadline and things like that. And
yeah,
student will be penalty maybe 10% after a day after the deadline, something like that. Yeah, this is
yeah, cool.
those are very popular. Um, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. That's something we've been talking about. I think we'll have it pretty soon.
Yeah. Hopefully. But I think definitely the discussion feature is very cool. I like the way we can type equation, and we can. There are many advanced features in this product.
Yes, there are. And, I didn't mention code formatting. You can also do that, and then you'll have
Code,
some text highlighting in your code.
Java,
Yep.
or
Yep.
can it run Python? I mean,
Yeah.
oh,
Python.
so I can test Python. Okay, because this class we use Python.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to say that it doesn't like compile and run it, but it displays properly. So
Oh, I
you paste a
see.
bunch of code into an
Yeah, it
email,
show
it often
properly.
gets screwed up. Yeah. So it displays properly, and it code variables and.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much,
Yeah. Thank you.
and have a good day. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks a lot.
Bye bye.
Bye.